Abhishek, Dinesh, Anvesh, Gopi and Derek. So coming to the agenda for tonight, we will be starting with the problem statement, following through the agile methodology. Next is the statement of work and burn-down chart and GitHub chart. The retrospectives that we have done for each sprint and challenges and attack plan, live demonstration of the application, documentation, next steps, and then the conclusion. So coming to the problem statement, right now this application is using old technology, which makes it hard to maintain. And we also have trouble importing and exporting the data easily. And handling large amounts of data is a challenge. Plus the user interface isn't very user friendly and it does not support features like batch processing or advanced data visualizations. We have made some changes by switching to new frameworks, which might help it to be more scalable and easier to use in future. And I'd like to hand over it to Derek for the next one.
Thank you. Since our project was based on the old code, we used the agile methodology to refine the code to the modern code. So the overview of the project was, the first step we tried to modernize the code base within this team, 10 team members, and then the responsibility was shared among us. We used the agile methodology. We divided the project into sprints from 0 to 7, and then each sprint lasts for 2 weeks. So before every meeting, we start with stand-up, which is 15 minutes, where we update ourselves with the current position of the project, and then proceed with the questions to the client. And every sprint, after every sprint, we do a client demo where we present our project to the client, and then the client gives us feedback and we correct the mistakes immediately. Thank you, and I'll hand over to Abhishek.
Thank you, Derek. Moving on to the statement of work, as Derek was saying, we had 8 sprints, sprint 0 to sprint 7, and one of the major work for sprint 0 was having a solid statement of work so that we know what is expected from our team and what we are promising. As you can see, we have the first, I've kept this in the order of importance. So the first most important thing was migrating the framework from UX to Pinia, and there were a lot of files that were, even though they were in Vue 3, they were still using Options API, which is like an older version used in Vue 2. Vue, by the way, is a JavaScript framework which is new and it's been highly being used everywhere. So it was a good learning for us. And then the next part is adding import and export functionality. We already had import and export functionalities, but we needed to make few enhancements by making the users, by letting the users use the external ID column for both specimen and DNA screens so that they can import as well as export. And then we had ability to attach the files to models and batch edit, which Rishika was talking about during the introduction. And there were few consistency issues where in admin screens we had tags that were displaying in one way, but when we look at the reports, it was not the same. And the update password functionality, and the last one was isolated batch process. Of course, these are not the only things. We were also expected to update the user manual with all the changes that we make throughout each sprint. So this was what we promised for SOW, and now handing it over to him.
Thank you, Abhishek. And yeah, this is the sprint velocity for the last 8 sprints which we have worked on it. And starting with the bar graph, the blue line represents the completed tasks in each sprint, and the orange represents the incomplete tasks which were pushed to the next sprint. And throughout these sprints, we have total 8 sprints, and we have worked through 7 epics, and we have handled 68 user stories, and we have successfully tackled total 238 tasks. And
thank you, Ramesh. This is our retrospective for the
during the sprints 1 to sprint 7. So what went well in the first sprint? So migration of the VX to PINIA application in the administration module is working as expected, and the file import, we are able to use the Excel files to import the data into the database and export the tables from the development environment. So due to the huge workload of the team, we are not able to complete the module isotopes module and the dental and about application, and some of the bugs are related to visualization. So we are not able to do the Cypress test also in the part. So communication is a problem because everyone are not in the same page. So to improve, so we need to search for the online documentation and other old code repositories to go more about that, and to ask the more questions to the when we are in the stuck of the middle.
Thank you, Gopi. So coming to the challenges, so during the initial phases of the sprint, so we finding difficulties in understanding the different terminology like the board names and specimens, and also the code which we are given was not in a good state. There was some of the admin screens and the functionalities were not working, so tracking down that was a bit challenging. And also while we were working on the visualization and the export import features, so we ran into many errors and the bugs. And also backlog refinement was a big challenging, and also maintaining the high level of motivation through entire sprints. And the attack plans we choose were asking more questions to the client, and also referring to the code documentation and the other online resources, and referring to the previous code. And also for the backlog items, we used to make team meetings and make sure what are all the priority items, and we used to tackle those. And also we used to cheer up the team members when we achieved a task, and we used to meet outside of the class in order to build the good relationship and handing over to them.
Yes. So before coming to the demo, we have to understand some of the terminologies related to enhancing Vue.js project with modern framework upgrades. So let's first talk about the migrations from Vuex to PINIA. As some of you may know, Vuex is a standard for state management in Vue applications for quite some time. However, because of the evolution of the Vue.js, PINIA has emerged as a more modern solution for the state management. This transition was motivated by the PINIA more straightforward and flexible API, which significantly enhances state management, scalability, and maintainability. This shift not only simplifies the developer experience, but also aligns with the latest practices in managing states efficiently in large-scale applications like Quora. Next, we address the structure of our Vue components by moving from Options API to Composition API. This change is not just keeping up with trends, it's also about significant improvements in how we compose and reuse logic across our components. The Composition API provides a more organized and modular approach, which was cumbersome with the Options API. This has been particularly beneficial in making our code base more more maintainable and easier to read, which is really crucial as our project grows. Now for the demo. So currently, this is the landing page for the development environment for Quora. Now, I'm just gonna log in so that we can see the home page. And as you can see, we can user profile and organization profile. So in the user profile, you can see that you got to know your email, your role, all of your information, and you can also edit some of the information from your end as well. For example, you can edit your name, your cell phone, your alternate phone, and staff channel as well. So I'm going to try to test for the cell phone, and then when you save, the start bar will show that update is successful, and when you're refreshing it, it is showing that it's updated to a bunch of ones. Same thing with the rest of the tabs. For example, lines per page will come on startup. If you don't want welcome screen on startup, or slide out the right sidebar for help, you can do that, and it will save into the database. Similarly to these pages or tabs, and also you know the user activity feed for specimens, the latest changes or activities for DNAs and specimens. Next is work profile. So you know that right now you can see what organization you're from right now. So for example, this organization name is Defense POW MIA Accounting Agency, and so on. And you can also similarly save and update the org profile. And it's also similar to other pages as well, when you can basically edit what you have right now, and you can refresh it, it will save. Next, I'm going to go to specimen. So right now we can create any new specimen based on the existing accession numbers, provenance 1, provenance 2, all the fields right here. So for example, you can create one for section number 2003 116, and I can put any provenance here, designator, and bones I'm gonna put as tooth, and left and complete. And when I save, it will say that specimen is created. And it will redirect you to edit page or the view page for that specimen that you have created. Because I selected the tooth, the dental code is also here. But if you are not selecting the tooth as a bone, the dental codes would not exist. So for example, if I try to create or edit and add some dental codes here, I can save, I can add some tags here. We have some test tags to play around, and we also can update the comments, save, it will also populate. And when you save, it will also save it to the database as well. And it will show that you have updated at 619, which is right now. And if you want to delete, you can also delete it. And it will also show that it is successful. And it will redirect to the home page. Next is you create a specimen by bone group. Like that, I can create a bone group name 2. the group creation tool. Next, I can show the file export and import. This is one of the most important sections that we have done. First, I will show the export files, which is you're exporting the data from the table to outside, which is the Excel file. So you can also export right now, which contains all the data tables that are in each export type sections, or you can go advanced and select your own the tables that you want to be exported. So for example, if you want to export only skeletal bones and skeletal elements with timestamp as well, if you want, it will show you the created app or updated app. You can, but I'm gonna export the tables right now. It will go through the Laravel job queue, and it will work for us until the process is done. And I believe, hopefully right now, yes. So export all is succeeded, and it will show inside the file manager, which we have exported. As you can see, the created app is today, and this is the UTC time zone, so it's showing 23:23, but you can count it. It takes some time to process because of the large data, but it will go with the zip file. So as you can see, these are the two tables that we have exported, which is skeletal bone and skeletal element. And in here, as you can see, there are a large amount of data right here that you can take a look at that we have exported from the database. Similarly to the skeletal element. Next is the file import, which we are taking Excel files to import to the data table. So right now you can select any import type that you want to import. I'm going to demonstrate the specimens. For example, you can download the template so that you can add your own data in. So right now it's the template, but you can always select or change to another data. For example, I'm changing the designator to 300 and 100. And then I can choose that file.
show the admin screen. So this screen is only visible to if you're an admin and we have logged in as an admin. So if you're an analyst or some other user, you won't be having the privilege to edit these screens. And I'm going to revisit the tags that Philip was showing. So we have CRUD functionality for all the admin screens, but just to be faster, I'm going to show main functionalities in each of the screens. Let's look at some of the tags that are in USS Oklahoma. We have this. So I'm just going to edit this. Let's say and I save this. As you can see, it has been changed here, the last row. And now we can check if it's really working by just going to one of the specimens. I'm just going to not select any filter because the more filters we select, the lesser data that we have. For demonstration purposes, I'm going to select the first specimen. And when I click on edit, I can see that it has been changed from A to E. Also, we don't get all the tags because this shows only for USS Oklahoma. We have to change the project to the other tags because they are in other projects. And we can save this. The next one is haplogroup. And here I'm just going to show the delete functionality. So you can delete any of these haplogroups and then it should be done. And the search is pretty much the same. If I search for any of the data that has the letter H is being shown, and it's not case sensitive. And also we can download the Excel, either Excel or PDF, and then have these. Yes. This. This is the export that I've done with all the haplogroups. It's in Excel and PDF is the same, but in PDF. The next is instrument management. I'm going to show the batch edit in this because admin can actually batch edit the instruments. So I can just select all of these or partially select any one of the items, and then when I click on batch edit, I have the option to batch edit all of the things all of the data that I've selected. So for now I can just make them all active and then actually save. As you can see, all of these are active except the one that I have not selected. And all the other functionalities are pretty much the same. And for accession, I can show you the PA. I just need to have a number and I'm going to copy this, but change it a little bit. have the opportunity to change the password. So we can change the password. We have all the restrictions. Sorry for that. If we keep the same password and then reset password, the snack bar should show us saying you have created successfully. So you can log out and log in as a user to check that and it works. The next thing is the batch edit functionality. I'm just going to assign some instruments, 0284, 39, and 44, for example. And then click on save. The instruments are being saved. And the way we check is just by clicking on edit and we can see 284, 39, and 44. I've selected all the data in this page. So we can change changes for this page. We can go to the next page and change again. But that's how this works. Now that we're done with administration, I'm going to the org reports. Screen is really big, so I'm not sure why that. Yeah, this is fine. So if we can choose any one of the DNA reports, again, I'm not going to filter anything because we get lesser data in that way. And we get all the org, DNA, YHDR reports, and then we can just click on any of the sample number to, this is one. Okay. Sorry for that, let me check another one. Micro. And so this is what happens when you click on one of the sequence numbers. It should take you to the page with the mito sequence number that has been selected and shows only the items that have these sequences. And then you click on the sample number, it takes you to the sample page. And then individual number takes you to that all the items with the same individual. You can basically change this and then select any other number. You have the information, so you should basically select the number or design components side and then click on generate, and then you get all the reports. And then project report. I'm going to show you the methods here. So for this, we have to select a design role. I'm going to select Humorous, it has good data. And then Mecker and Stewart, this also has good data. And then once I select, you get all the individuals for this. And the page nation, just takes the other page. And it's the same concept with this. You can do mito sequence number or individual number and DNA sample number. It keeps on going. So you can check each and every thing. And next, I'm going to give it to Surya for his turn.
Thank you, Abhishek. First, I'm going to explain all these widgets. Like we can close all of this and we can refresh so that every visualization is visible. Dashboard for visualization. I'm going to refit screen. Humorous has lot of data. And I'm selecting left and unsided. I'm generating this visualization. This is the particular specimen. How exactly we can know that this visualization is correct? I'm going to that particular specimen. Choosing the zone classification. So over here you can see like this specific specimen has greater and lesser tubercle. And in our visualization also, it only highlights the first zone and rest all of them are empty. If I select, I'm highlight that specific specimen which we filter it out. And we have couple of filters like the possible refit, like the specimen which has the exact refit will be get highlighted. These are the couple of specimens which have the exact refit and which have same DNA. These are all the specimens which have the same DNA. Going to next screen, single multi-layer. I'm going to select pathology and generate the distillation. Over here you can see we have couple of pathology groups. I'm going to deselect everything and select only one thing. It will be in a disjoint by default. When I filter, only the density gets seen in the graph. Going to next screen by part A. I'm going to select pair matching. The bone is numerous. I'm going to select like a couple of specimens. You can see that this is the graph visualization graph for bipartite, and every visualization works on the dark theme also. The next visualization is hierarchical edge bundling. I'm going to select relations. Select couple of relations. Go to get specimens. Based on the filters, we have like 539 specimens in total. This is the hierarchical edge bundling graph which we have kept on based on our filters. Nitin is going to talk about the rest of the visualizations.
Thank you, Surya, about that. Before moving forward to the next visualization, I just want to share, seeing all the confused faces here, seeing all these visualization, I just want to let in on all here on a little secret that we took almost 7 sprints to work on these visualizations, and we still hardly, like partially 50% know all about those filters and specifically the functionalities. When it comes to bio, we don't have much understanding about the terminologies, but we have walked through and tried our best to understand those words, those terminologies, and try to apply those filters. So moving on, moving forward with the measurements. So we again going to select the humerus because from our understanding we feel that this is the best one to select here and to show the visualization that we like. So we're going to select the length and the length, maximum length, the breadth on the side, and try to run. Try to refit it. So there is again some glitch on this page. So we are still on the phase of finding and hunting bugs. And this is one of the visualization about the scatter plot, about this measurement. And we have a couple of filters here when we activate some of these. So we can see that if you want that don't show the zero measured specimen, we can apply those filters, and all those zero values from the y-axis will be removed, as we can see here. that have been reflected on the visualization. When we select the complete or incomplete, that again applied on here. And we can select the target like mean. Before applying this, we need to select one of the specimens so that we can see where our specimen is, and then we can apply all these target areas. So this is about the scatter plot of measurement. The next is the collapsible tree. Again, we're going to select the specimen in here, and we select some of the excision number and one of the bone that is pretty famous among us, humerus, and try to generally find the specimens. And this is going to take time because at the back end we're trying to build the API and it responds with a lot of data, so it takes some time here. And then we select some specimen and we try to generate the collapsible tree for that. For now, if you can see, we have DNA micro with 17 more specimens. So we click on each of these and then we go forward. So it keeps on expanding the tree. And similarly, we have a couple of filters that we can apply if you want to select the relationship or if you want to remove those relationships. So it basically gives us detail about the tree in a tree structure of all detail of all that specimen. Moving to the next visualization, that is OSR. So in here we select humerus again. Since we have already selected, we're going to turn back to the new one, that is tibia, and we're going to select the maximum length, the tibia length, and try to find the specimens. So once that is done, we can see that 587 specimens have been found for this particular humerus. It takes a little time again to load these things because of the API call, and then we select one of these and try to generate the visualization. So it basically plot out all the specimens from the humerus side, but if you want to apply one of the specimens from the tibia, we can select this. And as we can see that our snack bar is saying that this is particularly not found, so we can, if we know about the terminology, we will be here selecting the select, and we can see that blue one is highlighted from the tibia side. So this is one of the other visualizations. And with this, these are the two new features that we next set of patch, that is one of the next steps that's going to come up with these. So I'm going to move forward with Srijan to show the documentation.
Because already last 40 minutes.
So we have documented each of the tasks we have accomplished just to make the user familiarize with the project. So I'm going to start with user profile. So this is a basic description of a user and all the roles that are available. Org administrator is the top role and that has maximum options. This is the basic overview of the about profile. So each organization can have its own profile in this project, its users, projects associated. So this is where we can find the org profile. And these are the basic documentation for the administration. This is for user management. So for each administration page, it starts with a GIF, which basically tells you how to navigate in that page and all the features available. And we also have a detailed description of what you can do in that page. So this is create user. So for create user, this table shows what are the required fields to create a user and what are the optional fields, their size and the validation rules. This screenshot shows edit user and again what we can edit for a user. And this is for batch edit of the user and the fields that we can batch edit like all at once. This is for the user access and password reset. So the documentation is similar for all the administrators. Batch edit is present, it will be there. This is for project management. Again, it starts with the GIF, all the required fields for it, optional fields for it. This file is for file export, import and manager. These are all the export types that are available and the roles which has the export type available to each role. And these are the notification settings for it. And we have documented each visualization as well. So these are the first table shows required fields for it and the GIF to walk you through what to select to generate the visualization, and also the step-by-step process on how to generate the particular visualization. So it's same for all the 8 visualizations. And next we'll discuss about the next steps. Thank you.
There are some couple of bugs, as you can see, like there are a couple of bugs in visualization, in the reports and everything. Because of huge workload and lot of work for the teammates, we could not deliver everything in the SOW. Like we could not deliver the isotope, the dental module. The dental module is migrated to Pinia, but some of the functionalities are not working in the dental module. And we need to update the user manual and could not touch the about page.
So I would like to conclude here by telling that as you all saw what work that we have done, and we have migrated from the old tech stack that the Cora web application has been using, and we have migrated it to the current updated tech stacks. And also I would like to mention here that these enhancements have actually complemented by significant backend optimizations. We actually took a lot of time to understand what is actually going on in this particular application. And this is all we have for the demo. And on behalf of my team, I would like to thank our stakeholder, Dr.
we have a former student over here, Astral. Are you working at Google Machine?
I'm at First National.
You're a First National now. Did you used to work at Google Machine?
I used to.
Okay. Well, fire away your questions.
có ai hỏi cái gì nữa không? Chắc mình
Can you describe a little bit for us the overall architecture? I assume this is a cloud-based application, and can you tell us a little bit about the environment that you are developing in?
So, for the tech stack, we are using Laravel PHP for the backend and Vue.js as the frontend. And we are using Eurogroup as the dev cloud that we can deploy on the Mac server, and we can essentially access to the website.
So Heroku is actually uses AWS infrastructure. Okay? The problem with AWS is there's so many things to control and configure in terms of settings. So you have a nice GUI-based front end allows you to manage your infrastructure. So Heroku is a product from Salesforce. Salesforce is a big company as well. So that's why we use Heroku. It was pretty easy to manage.
Normally, I ask a database question. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the database and the database schema and platform was kind of already put in place by previous classes, right? So it was there, so you didn't have to mess with it. Is there anything in the database design that you find yourself cursing previous students for, or anything that you think should have been done differently, or did the previous group do a great job of?
They're doing a pretty nice job on the multi-managed relationships and even multi-managed relationships as well. So I think we don't have much time figuring out what the relationship is, and then we can pull the data from the database from the front end back end, and then pull the data to display on the front end.
I would like to add to that. They have good bridge tables as well. Don't think that much more.
Follow the theme of the database questions. So where did your data validation occur on the import?
On the import. That's a very specific question.
Yeah, so you showed the import from an Excel or CSV file. I'm assuming there's some form of data validation because it threw an error that you had a null field or a boolean.
We actually two steps on the back end. We have to verify that some of the fields or some of the columns they have to have, for example, boolean or string or number, and then we go to the front end. We have to verify that the column names are correct and the file names are also matching with the import type that we put in. For example, specimen. The file name should be specimen something .csv or .xl and .xx.
Let me add on to that. So the import process actually goes to the same model layer, right, which has the existing validation rules. So we do not bypass the model layer. So that way you can maintain the data integrity, both at the model level, the business layer, as well as the database layer. Database itself has the integrity constraint, I think, but we always and consistently go to the model layer. We do not bypass that. That's a very good question because you want to make sure your data integrity is maintained.
So switch over to kind of the auspices of the project itself. Was your statement of work, your SAL, was that provided to you, or did you generate that as a part of the project?
We had it based on previous things of work. So whatever they have from it, and based on that we made something that we thought we could deliver, and then as we went through had plenty of room for backward compatibility. That was like that.
And if I remember correctly, you did that in sprint 0 or sprint 1?
Sprint zero.
Sprint 0. How often did you look at the SAL after sprint 0?
A lot of times.
Good. Last question I have is kind of value focused. So a lot of your demonstration, your project is very technically focused, which I appreciate. Who would you say would experience the value from your project most acutely? Who would benefit from the work that you guys accomplished?
I would say DNA analysts or forensic analysts.
Anthropologists as well.
So what can they do now that they couldn't do before the start of your project, or what are they doing better?
So we're just improving the UI experience, and we are setting up the base so that it's more scalable in the future. So right now, in order to add more functionalities, we will still have to use the old tech stack. So once this has been fully migrated, and it's been migrated, but once we make sure everything is working as it should, we can adding more functionalities should not take much time. It's going to be easier, not need that such a huge platform. That's
At the heart of it is it's a data science problem. So it's a forensic data science, right? So it is technically.
It is dirty.
So the user base for this would be forensic anthropologists, forensic scientists, forensic odontologists, isotopanoists, a whole bunch of scientific folks involved in this. So the objective over here is to kind of, first of all, identifying missing people is an extremely hard business. But the goal of this project really is to allow the forensic scientists to find linkages within specimens, okay, and bones, so that they can create an individual first, establish that these bones belong to an individual, and then associate that to some missing person. So the objective really is to kind of speed up that process. And the analytics engine around this is geared towards helping the forensic scientists identify which specimens to go get. Where is Astra? Astra,
Yes.
you ask a question.
Yes, I come from Agile world and product world, so, and then I see feedback highlighted over there. So I want to ask the group, what was the biggest piece of feedback you received that you incorporated into your project that probably turned the trajectory of your project?
That would be basically understanding, first it starts with understanding the functionality rather than jumping onto the technology itself. So before going into the visualization right away, we need to understand what filters we are selecting. And before selecting the filters, we need to understand what we're trying to visualize there. And it's kind of a domino kind of thing situation there. So we need to understand the root. Before building something or before migrating something into a new tech stack, we need to understand what functionality we are running and what is the total, what would be the outcome. So for that, we had the CAD production environment running. So our, along with our professor, we had CAD environment to map it to, are we on the right track or we are completely off track? So that really helped. It's a kind of two-way feedback that we had in our hand.
So we'll stop the question here. We're already 15-20 minutes behind schedule. So thank you to the group. Next group is come on over.
Chúc mừng con trai mẹ đã thuyết trình thành công. Con là leader team. Con thể hiện rõ vai trò leader team của mình. Yêu con và tự hào về con.